Mohammed said, are there any strategies that could help me in reading part A, because 15 minutes is a very narrow time? So reading part A requires you to answer 20 questions within 15 minutes. And these 20 questions are words or a letter even for the first 7 questions that you can take directly from one of the 4 texts that you are provided in the text booklet. So you have 20 questions to answer. The first 7 questions are asking you to match information that you are given in each one of the questions with one of the texts. So the answer to each of those 7 questions is purely a letter, A, B, C, or D. Now, those 7 questions are also designed to help you get a very quick understanding of the difference between the contents of those 4 different texts that you're using. All 4 texts will be on the same topic. So, for example, we've got sample tests which have the topic of fractures, or perhaps immunization for children. And by very quickly looking at those texts, trying to match the information in those first 7 questions, you will get a very good but quick overview of what the differences are. For example, one text is likely to be a table of statistics or dosage amounts, for example. The other 3 texts will be on the same topic, but cover it from a slightly different angle. So for fractures, the example is we may have the procedure for putting on a type of plaster cast. Another text may be covering assessing whether a fracture has occurred to a patient's bone, or so forth. So doing those 7 questions first in that order will actually help you to then answer the remaining questions more speedily. The other thing that I would say, if you're struggling with time, is make sure you are not reading all of the text before starting to answer the questions. Some candidates feel the need or feel more comfortable if they've read all 4 texts before they answer the questions. But this is not the design of the test. Employers tell us that in the workplace, healthcare professionals sometimes need to read and understand information quickly and take action on that information. So, for example, if a patient has recently been admitted in a fairly urgent scenario, you may be presented with packets of medication that the patient usually takes, and you want to scan those packets of medication to check that any further medication you want to prescribe for them to sort the current situation will not counteract that medication you want to prescribe. And you need to do that quite quickly, of course. So this is what you need to do with reading part A. Don't read all 4 of the texts. Use the questions to help you find and locate the answers quickly. So, for example, once you've done the first 7 questions, which require you to pick up a letter, A, B, C, or D from one of the 4 texts, you will have a fairly good understanding of how those 4 texts are different and some of the key words that have come up in those 4 texts. Then you can look at the next set of questions, which may be gap fill, or they may be short answer question where you have to write down 2 or 3 words from the text. Look at the key words in that question. What is it asking you to find? Which text, from the understanding that you now have from doing the first 7 questions, is likely to contain that information? Go straight to that text. Look for those key words in the text. Don't start at the beginning. Scan your eyes very quickly over the page, looking for that information that you've decided you need, and then write down the answer, copying exactly from the text. It takes a little bit of practice to speed up on this. So first of all, I would suggest doing it without a time limit, doing it slowly and carefully, learning how to understand what is being asked of in the question, what words you need to look for in the text to find the answer. Do it slowly, do it carefully to begin with. Once you're confident that you understand how the test works, then you can start speeding up and trying to achieve the goal of the 15 minutes. 20 questions in 15 minutes, I think, is very doable. If you're struggling with that time limit, I would suggest it's because you're trying to read for too much detail in the individual texts, or you're not using the questions enough to help you locate the answers.